All right, good afternoon. It is May 12th, 2022, and I'm looking at today as a range day. You can see we broke out a little, but we didn't. The breakout to the high side failed, and these overnight lows would have been right here, and you can see that looks like a midline. Looks pretty accurate. But these lows down here are also, these get even more touches. So either way you played it, I'm sure it would have worked. So let's take a look at these trades. You can see in the overnight, really it was pretty much downward movement in the overnight. So I think 5 o'clock comes in during this, downward move. This pretty steep leg down, and in all in all, overnight the bias was down. So this looks like a double bottom. I was looking at this, and you do get a break of this channel, then a move to a new low, and this is a higher low with a lot of room back to the EMA. Like 8 points of room, something like that, 91 to 99. So a lot of room. I just don't think you can take that. Maybe I'll mark it as aggressive, but not the best idea to take that. And really, we just move into some congestion after that. I don't see, this is just very stemmy. I don't like this price action, so I'm not going to jump into it. But we break out and fail, and we continue to move down, and you get a first entry, second entry. It kind of looks like a breakout pullback as well. That comes at 6:37, so 7 minutes after the open. That's pretty good entry. It looks like, you can see it kind of looks like we're in like a channel up, but I mean, you're not drawing it off of those closes like that. You're usually drawing it more like that, and that would make more sense because we get a break and a move to a new high. So yeah, I like that, and we're making a new low here, so we still don't know where the bias is at, or I mean what we're looking at for the day, but it looks like it's a downtrend. So you do get a first failed second entry right here. People who took that though, you probably scalped out there. So that's 4 ticks to there, but assuming it probably ticked lower, so you would have gotten your scalp right there. So let's see. I mean, in the bias, with the bias being down, I wouldn't be. Maybe that's what you got to look at right there. Because that's not off the key entry point. So that would have kept you out of that trade, even though you probably would have scalped out anyway. So it doesn't matter. But that's close. But the failure happens. We get an overshoot that leads to a break. Not sure why I like this. I guess this is a double test. That's probably what I'm looking at here. That's pretty much it. Double test. Kind of looks like we're breaking back into this pink range that I had drawn. Then we come up, we hit the midline, and we're just kind of chopping back and forth. But then we get a first entry. Oh, this is a failed second entry short right here. So when all those traders exit, the floor falls out. You might consider that. We already have a move to a new high, so this is a lower high. It's just a trap. And it looks like there's room to the lows of the trend channel, so I like that too. Yeah, and you can see that's a little overshoot, looks like. Room to the bottom of that trend channel, probably room back to the EMA as well. Come up here, you get a second entry short, but it doesn't set up well. It is a first failed second entry long, but that doesn't set up well either. That's above the EMA. We come down, we fail to test these lows, and you get a first entry, failed second entry short. That's a pretty good setup. Good signal bar. And that thing just rockets on up. Looks like you get a slight overshoot here, and that leads to another overshoot up here. And you get a first entry, second entry. I like this, but there definitely is a channel working down here, so I don't know if the close outside right here supports taking that entry or doesn't support it, because if we have a close outside, we should wait for a new low, which happens, you know. So I marked that blue, but I don't know, that might be a green one. And you get a first entry, failed second entry. This one's definitely good. After that new low, I think that's a good entry right there. Nice failure. And you can see a lot of other traders like that too. Then we form this downward channel. And maybe I need to be more tight with my channels. Make it closer to like this. And that would make sense, because that is fitting. So we get a break. One leg, two legs down to a new low. So yeah, that's how I should have drawn my channel. And you get a first entry, second entry. But if you see what I just saw, that bounce off the midline, I don't know if you should take that really, but it is a second entry short. And we continue to find support at that midline. And so we bounce here. This looks like a failure right here. I think that's a higher low. So, and this looks pretty range-like, so I'm not too crazy about that. So people took a second entry here. If you took that second entry, if you got a good signal bar here, I would say go short there. Look at that. It's clearly testing that price level again, double test. Then we just keep going up though. Come up here and you get I think that's a first, second entry. Oh, okay, no, it's a double top. So you get a first entry, it breaks lower, second entry long, great signal bar, plenty of room to the highs to scalp out. And we break higher, and look, we get a break of this channel, perfect price action, break, two legs up to a new high. It's a failed break higher. So then we start to come lower, and you get a first entry, failed second entry long right here. That's a great entry, and you could have rode this. And after this leg down ends, you could have dragged your target right here to the new swing high, and that would have given you a perfect measure move, and that would have gotten you like a 50-point move if you entered right here. So some really cool stuff. Anyway, this trend channel, you can see we get a break, a couple legs down to a new low, and then it kind of just goes sideways before making this high, and then you get a lower high, and that's actually also a second entry short. And you could also look at it as like a failed breakout. So I like that entry, absolutely. And yeah, you would have gotten a big move out of that. This is below the EMA, so we're not looking to go long. First entry, second entry, doesn't look like you got a setup for that. We form this channel up. This is starting to look like a range to me. We get a break, move to a new high. We continue to go sideways. First entry, failed second entry. But unfortunately, this doesn't tick higher. And honestly, I was looking to go short here anyway because this looked like a range to me. But you don't get a lower high, and this one doesn't set up right away. It doesn't trigger right away. So when you get a doji right next to this, you might hesitate. And this channel fizzles out, and this is probably like a test of this price level. You can see it bounces big time. Comes back up, and it kind of forms a spike up and channel down. And really, this is probably just a break of this channel and a move to a new high. You can see we get like a double test right here, but there's no setup. Overshoot leads to a break. First entry, failed second entry long. And that's I mean, this is slightly aggressive because we already got a break and a move to a new low. And this sets up above the EMA, but it's just got the feel of a trap. So I should probably mark that aggressive. And prices are just going sideways. That's another thing. This is clearly a range, so that's definitely aggressive. Don't be taking failures in congestion. And we form this channel down. It's too far from the EMA. And you get a first entry, failed second entry short right here. We wouldn't take that short because it's not a good signal bar. It's congestive as well. But when that failed second entry short fails up here, prices drop. I don't think you can take this lower high going into these lows of the day. That's risky. And I mean, it kind of looks like we might get a reversal. We broke out to the high side and failed, so maybe we'll break out to the low side and fail. So you do get this good first failed second entry short setup. I like that for testing these over the lows that I had drawn, and you can see it finds some resistance there, but it goes even higher. And that is, I looked at this as a double bottom, and that's another reason. Okay, so this looks like a trap because this is a double bottom. You can see that. And a lot of people got trapped going short here. So if you see that, you like that long, you can take it. But that double bottom, first entry, second entry, along with that double test right there, that is a very good entry. And you can see a lot of other people like that too. This is too congestive here, right here, to be taking any failures. I think that's a failure. It's above the EMA anyway. Come down here, break, form this new range right here. I'm not seeing anything in here that I'm crazy about, especially since the move down was strong. I'm not trying to go long yet, but then we keep making these higher lows, and then we break out, come back down here. It doesn't reach the bottom of these. It doesn't reach these lows, and you get a first entry, failed second entry. So this one looked like a trap at first, and it almost stopped me out. I was on my practice account. That's off the trend line. So I mean, I like that. But now I'm looking at it, it's far from the EMA, and I didn't see that. The only thing I saw was it bouncing off my range highs, which, I mean, those aren't even that convincing. So this is probably a little more aggressive than I thought. But that would have gotten you a really nice move up. And you can see that. And that brings us into 1230. Looks like we've just been going sideways since then. So, a few good moves in here today. So hopefully you guys got a piece of that. I'm out of here. I'll be back tomorrow. God bless.